right, good afternoon, everyone. Um, my name is Ellen. I'm the client work manager and one of the Intel analysts at SafeAbroad. I'll be leading this briefing today, along with a couple of our interns that we have on for this session. So thank you for taking time out of your afternoon to meet with us. We have just a couple incidents to brief you on. And yeah. All right, here's just an overview. We're going to be looking at some recent incidents and then also some predictions and things to keep an eye out for this month of June. Also wanted to call attention, we just put out our South Korea presidential election report. You know, there are many students abroad. Sorry if you're hearing a puppy. No. That's a top destination for study abroad students. So that will be on safeabroad.com/reports. And we also have a one on Spain and also Ecuador coming up soon as well. So yeah, with that, we'll move on to the recent incidents and I'll turn it over to one of our interns.
Hi, I'm Caroline. I'll be introducing this incident that happened on May 14th in Seville, Spain. There was a planes or chemical plant explosion that happened approximately 10 miles from the city center. This caused a plume of smoke to go into the air. At the time, reports were unclear, but we know now that 2 personnel were injured in the blast, and the major impact to travelers ended up being the smoke plume, which caused air quality alerts to be issued for about 80,000 people in the surrounding area. Ultimately, travelers were advised to remain indoors, close all windows, follow official directives, monitor local media for updates, and wear masks if they could. As of now, we still don't know why there was an explosion at the chemical factory, but that remains under investigation.
Thanks, Caroline. So, hey, I'm Cooper, and also in Spain last month, May 21st, we had an assassination of a former aide to the former president of Ukraine, Viktor Yankovich. This was Andrei Portnov, who was assassinated by multiple gunmen after dropping his children off at their elementary school, the American School of Madrid, which is in a pretty wealthy, affluent suburb of Madrid. And it also happens to be near a few different universities in the area that we do have students at. The shooter fled into the forest and has still not been apprehended, or the multiple shooters have not been apprehended yet. And this kind of is just one of many. So with monitoring and looking at our incidents in other countries, we are not looking at the war in Ukraine and Russia because those are both DOS level 4 do not travel countries. So we don't really pay attention to the war in Ukraine itself, but we do pay attention to incidents like this where where the war is kind of spilling over into the rest of Europe. And most of those incidents do include targeted assassinations like this. And then there have been a series of terrorist attacks related to the war in Ukraine that have also occurred. And our advice to travelers was just to stay away from the area and follow directives from authorities. That's all I've got on that.
All right, thank you very much. Moving right along, on May 26th in Liverpool, United Kingdom, there was an incident where a car drove through a parade. It was celebrating the Premier League championship win. Unfortunately, over 70 individuals were injured, including 4 people that had to be freed from under the car itself. The driver was apprehended. The motive remains unclear. Of course, travelers were advised to vacate the area for several hours until the incident was cleared, to expect a heightened security presence. And yes, of course, this is relevant as we have many students in the United Kingdom for study abroad in general. And also on May 29th in Canada, a state of emergency was declared due to significant wildfires across several provinces. Over 27,000 residents have been evacuated, and 1.7 million acres of land have been burned. These wildfires are still growing, of course, impacting not only the air quality and other health related things, but also travel, highway access, telecommunications, and such. So, as this is kind of an ongoing incident, travelers were and continue to be cautioned to remain up to date with local media, to make solid travel plans before setting out, and of course, following all official directives. All right, so moving right ahead to the month ahead, these are incidents that we predict will impact study abroad travelers in the month of June. And we have the France railway strikes that will be coming up. So the French National Railway Company will be striking several days. Actually, they started today. These strikes are like varying levels depending on the day, and they are organized to demand wage increases. This will put a pretty significant strain on public transportation. Travelers should be wary of that, make solid transportation plans ahead of time, and anticipate not only delays, but also a high volume of people and other forms of transport as everybody tries to navigate through these strikes. All right. Then in Scotland, on June 6th and 9th, Stagecoach bus drivers are also expected to strike. This will affect areas in counties across Western Scotland, including Glasgow. So the strike is organized due to wage disputes, and over 400 drivers will be striking. Once again, this is just a situation where being prepared ahead of time, having solid travel plans is the most important, just to mitigate all sorts of delays. All right. Moving forward, June 14th in London, a anti-monarchy protest is expected near Buckingham Palace. Large crowds and increased security can definitely be expected in a protest like this. Travelers, just in general, should avoid all protests. Expect pretty significant travel disruptions as far as road closures, and to monitor local media for updates, official guidance, etc., because that will definitely be present during this. All right.
Hi, I'm Dylan, and in June 15th, we're going to see wide-scale protests across southern Italy, or sorry, in southern Europe, in countries such as Spain, Italy, and Portugal. These protests are against tourism, and cities have been identified in Barcelona, Venice, Palermo, and Lisbon. The protesters have been upset with rising rents, housing shortages, pollution, overcrowded public transportation, and we've already seen protests that have consisted of blockading tour buses, obstructing entry to tourist sites, and then even spraying tourists with water guns. As you could imagine, this has a high probability of leading to escalation. And because of this, we assess that travelers should avoid high tourist sites where this will happen, and also avoid congregating in groups with other tourists, or possibly even avoid traveling altogether. And many roads could be closed, and public transportations will also be shut down likely on this day. Thank you.
And then finally, on June 22nd in The Hague, the Netherlands, we are expecting an anti-NATO demonstration on June 22nd following an anti-NATO summit that will be held on June 21st. This demonstration is planned to take place at 2 p.m. and is organized by the Dutch Counter-Summit Coalition for Peace and Justice, which is made up of various left-leaning activist groups. Although currently not a lot of details are available regarding what the demonstration itself will consist of, there's indications that it won't just be a standstill protest, it will be a march starting at, I can't pronounce the name, Coekamp Park. And although we don't know the destination, more than likely it would be the World Forum, as it's within walking distance and would be the site of the NATO summit. The demonstration is advocating against increasing militarization of Western powers and NATO's support for ongoing global conflicts, such as the Israel-Palestine conflict. General Traveler advice should be that they should avoid all protest areas and expect heightened security, plan alternate routes to the best of their ability.
All right. And that concludes our monthly briefing for June. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything that we presented on, any other incidents this past month, feel free to ask. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we hope to see you back next month.